the SEC schedule and the start times got released. And look, ESPN owns the rights to this conference now, so you're going to have a ton of primetime games. And, if you love night games, it's a good time to be an SEC fan. But there were a couple of games that, even though I love noon kickoffs, I was hoping would get the special primetime treatment, and they didn't necessarily. But just a couple of takeaways here. Florida is going to be front and center. So if you didn't know anything about Florida, you will by season's end, I promise you. They are going to LSU. That's going to be a night game. They're going to Miami. ACC, I think, has rights to that. That won't be a noon game, so that'll be either 3:30 or at night. Texas comes into the Swamp. I would be willing to bet that's a night game, 3:30 at the latest, Eastern time, of course. They are at A&M. That's either afternoon or night game. They got Georgia at 3:30. They do every year. They go to Ole Miss. That could be a night game. Tennessee at home. That could be a night game. Florida State at home. That's either an afternoon or a night game. It doesn't look like Florida's going to play a single noon game. So, if you want Florida in high leverage positions from a scheduling standpoint, you got it. Now, don't go 4-8, all right? Some of us have you top 10 in their preseason rankings. So, this is the time for Florida to shine. They call him Blue Chip Billy, Birmingham Billy. Because if Billy Napier wanted his team in the spotlight, he might as well have broken into the league office and made the schedule himself. You will not be able to escape Florida this year. Georgia season ticket holders have gotten the shaft in some seasons recently, not this season. You understand this year, if you have Georgia season tickets, you're getting Alabama in Athens at night. You're going to get Texas in Athens probably at night. You're going to get Ole Miss in Athens late afternoon or night. And also, now that's for the season ticket holders out there, but also just speaking about Georgia's ability to navigate this schedule, they only play one road night game in conference play, and that's at Auburn this year. Auburn could be terrible, or they could be great, and no one knows what Auburn's going to be. But outside of that, look at those road games. They go to Tennessee. It's not going to be a night game. They go to Jacksonville to face Florida. That's an afternoon game, too. They go to Mississippi State. If you got to go on the road in the SEC, Starkville, Nashville, Lexington, I mean, just respectfully, these are the places that you're wanting to draw from a road scheduling perspective. We've got a conundrum on September 27th. And this doesn't just apply to the SEC, but it applies to a game that I had circled. So September 27th, at least from the chair I sit in right now, is setting up to be one of the biggest Saturdays of the year. Just to give you an idea of what's happening that day, we got Oregon at Penn State. Somehow, some way, God has smiled on State College, Pennsylvania, and they're going to get the whiteout with Oregon in town. Don't ask questions. Just be happy you got it. That game's on NBC. At the same time, Alabama will be playing Georgia. So those two are two of the 5 biggest games in the country this year. They'll be happening at the same time, and that's important to note because then you look at the mid-afternoon games, and you got LSU at Ole Miss, and you got Auburn at Texas A&M. And here's why that's a problem. Let me cut in really quick and ask, look, prayer hands, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you think you're subscribed, check and make sure. Over 50% of you aren't. It's free, it doesn't sign you up for anything, and it helps us keep the show free, college football year-round, the way God intended it. All right, back to the clip. It may not be a good year for Arkansas. It probably won't be. And I've been wrong before, but I don't think I am on this. But you know what? Arkansas is not an easy place to play. And Notre Dame goes to Arkansas this year. And I was looking at it, and I said, I hope they get Notre Dame at night. Number one, because I want to see Notre Dame challenged. And number two, I want Arkansas folks to get their money's worth. 11 a.m. kickoff. I just threw up all over the place. And I love noon kickoffs. But there are certain games that I circle and I say, you, my friend, you are exempt from my wishes for every game to be kicked off at noon. This was one of them. I wanted to see Notre Dame go into Fayetteville at night. And bigger matchups robbed me of that. Did you look at what LSU could have to go through? LSU expected to be a contender in the SEC, be a contender for the national championship. Well, there will not be any doubt come late November whether they are valid in that race or not. They go to Clemson, they go to Ole Miss, they go to Alabama, they go to Oklahoma, and all those games could be night games. In fact, I'm confident 3 of the 4 will be night games. The only one in question is that game at Ole Miss, because there's so many other big games at night. That'll probably be a mid-afternoon kickoff. But LSU, man, they got it to do. They got Florida at home, obviously, and they got Texas A&M at home too. But South Carolina at home. It's just the schedules in the SEC are wild. I don't really care what anyone says about that. These schedules are like a sledgehammer to the gut every week. And some of these programs have done enough core work where they can just tense those abs up and they can take it. Most of them can't. And when you got to go on the road this many times, mid-afternoon or later, it's tough. And also, any time around these parts, we're talking about SEC schedules, what are we looking for? We're looking for the Cocktober surprise. That's what we're looking for. Okay, in politics, this is not a political show, but those of you who follow politics, you know in any election cycle, you haven't really figured things out until you get the dreaded October surprise. Well, in college football, we got the Cocktober surprise. And the Cocktober surprise is nobody wants to play South Carolina in October. And you especially don't want to be going into Williams-Brice in October. And you double especially don't want to have to go in there at night. And there are 2 candidates for the Cocktober surprise this year. And somehow, some way, Oklahoma, October 18th, is locked in as an early kickoff. But Alabama's not. Alabama coming off the 3rd Saturday in October, mind you, the Tennessee game. The following week, they got to go to Columbia, South Carolina, and they're either going to play that game at 3:30 or they're going to play that game in prime time. And either way, Cocktober could be very unkind to Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. And I'm warning you, it is June 12th, but I'm warning you right now, you may still not have enough time to get yourself ready to avoid being victimized by the Cocktober surprise.